This is a short video to describe how to develop management plans in preparation for your LEAF-Mark audit. LEAF-Mark is a plan-based approach because it enables us to be site-specific in our standard. The LEAF-Mark standard is globally relevant to a wide range of business contexts, and therefore, by implementing the principles of integrated farm management, a plan-based approach enables each plan and each farm business to set strategies and targets relevant to not only their environmental context, but also their economic and social context too, taking into account the trade-offs between time, impact, results and resources. If you have an existing management plan or an existing protocol that is similar to what we're asking for, then the first step is to first consider whether you can adapt that to be used for the purposes of the audit, instead of needing to create a new one. We don't want to create additional work, and if you have something already, then please do use that. The intention and value between management plans is that they are informed by monitoring activities, and that is what enables a site-specific approach. And it also corresponds to the additional control points in the LEAF-Mark standard that are about monitoring activities and also auditing of, say, in energy use or landscape and nature, for example. This is what enables adaptations to the context, because you're taking stock of what's already there and setting strategies and practices as relevant to that, which is exactly what the second stage is. And if you're ever in doubt of what to include, what strategies we're looking for, have a look at the control point, because the bullet points in the control point will state exactly what you need. And for the level of detail, that will really depend on your context and what resources and time you have available. So it's very likely that the management plans for businesses with small or large will be quite different. But as long as they all reference the control point stated, then that is what you need in order to be certified. The last step is to set targets, and this is to enable that focus on continuous improvement that is so important to LEAF-Mark and the principles of integrated farm management. It's okay if, due to unforeseen circumstances, you can't achieve your targets on a year-on-year basis. Whilst we'd love an X percentage increase every single year, that's not always feasible. So what we ask is that targets are set and then reviewed on an annual basis. If that target hasn't been achieved by the defined date, then the next steps from that would be to consider why that wasn't achieved and either readapt that target to make it more feasible and appropriate to this new context, or to think about the different strategies that need to be implemented in order to achieve that. If I show you an example of what this looks like in the context of LEAF-Mark, the best place to look is the standard, as I mentioned, and let's take a look at soil management. So this is what I meant when I was referring to look what the sub-bullet points are saying to include, because that's what your plan must have. But it also then has the requirements for reviewing these plans and updating them as appropriate. And the other piece of guidance that you can use is to look for the checklist of management plans. You can find this from the standard setting webpage, which if you search for standard in the top right corner, that will bring up the page. And then you can look at the plan, policy and risk assessment checklist. And this gives you a summary of all of the plans that are needed in the LEAF-Mark standard, the frequency in which they need to be updated, and then also which is the corresponding control point. So that can also be a helpful tool for you to refer to when preparing your management plans. So just to recap, the plan and intention of these management plans is to enable a site-specific approach where businesses define the right strategies and targets as relevant to their environmental and resource context. You can either adapt existing plans, but they need to be informed by monitoring, state the practices used based on this, and then have targets for setting continuous improvement. And if you're ever in doubt, firstly look in the LEAF-Mark standard, but then we do also have a wider range of resources available, either on the standard setting webpage, or the other place you can now look is on the Help Centre on the webpage, where we have a list of all corresponding guidance too that can help you support the process to becoming LEAF-Mark certified. But do keep an eye on our resource and our webpage for more guidance as we produce it.